Tune in to Heartland for the best in true country music. Relive vintage specials, one-of-a-kind concerts, and country music's earliest videos. Heartland is the heart of country, the only place where you can find country music, country stars, and country lifestyles 24/7. Heartland, the heart of country.
Now on channel 13.2.
Hi, I'm John Mallows. Welcome to this live edition of Connect With Me on the showroom floor on this day. It is Wednesday, and today we're talking about hunger. How many people in Fresno are going hungry these days? Don't have enough food in the fridge? We'll find out from our two special guests, 436 Me TV, option 11. We're back in a minute. Back here on the program on a Wednesday morning, course showroom floor at Ventura TV here on Connect With Me on Me TV Fresno. And a good time to talk about how many people go hungry. We have had members of the food bank here. Andy Souza has been here a few times along with his staff to talk about the needs of the Central Valley, all of those people that need food, that don't have it. Anyway, I want to remind you before we get into our show today that you are watching us as usual on Comcast channel 187 and 43.6 and 13.1. Comcast is the cable version, of course, 187. The other two stations over-the-air broadcast with a digital antenna. Then the replay comes later in the day at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 13.6 on YouTube, 8 o'clock at night on 4.6 Biz TV. Of course, you can watch us 24/7 after all of these shows get posted on YouTube. All right, the Twitter account is @JohnMallows, Me TV. Talking about hunger, and when you see these numbers during the course of the program today, I think you're going to be rather shocked, especially everything that's happening south of Shaw. You know, there's this divide here in this city, the tale of two cities. There's the north versus the south. And I want to ask you, my friends, agriculture, if it is the economic engine that drives this Central Valley, then why is it that there are so many people here in this area who suffer from hunger? They don't have enough food to eat, not enough food in the fridge. I want to go to the videotape and show you exactly what I'm talking about, my friends. Central California basically feeds the world, even now during this horrendous drought. But more than 64,000 people in Fresno and the area, the surrounding area, have empty fridges. Many of them don't have enough meat, bread, or fruits and veggies. Even milk is in short supply these days. That, according to hungercount.org, an organization that has surveyed thousands of people in the area, asking questions, taking notes, keeping some of the most accurate records to date on this topic. But again, how can that be? You know, 3 years ago, the New York Times Magazine called this area, the Central Valley, the land of 1 billion vegetables. The Central Valley produces more than a half the country's fruits and veggies and nuts, you know, like tomatoes, almonds, walnuts, grapes, dates, figs, apricots, asparagus, broccoli, collards. Should I go on? Cabbage, it's all here. This place is the state's agricultural hub, producing more than 360 products. In fact, the top 4 counties in the country in terms of ag sales are located right here in the valley. You're talking about Fresno County, Tulare, Kern, and Merced. Central Valley is the largest supplier of canned tomatoes, and did I mention that some of the biggest dairy farms also do business here? Although we don't have enough water, we still have some of the richest farmland anywhere. Live in our studio now is Philip Erro and Greg Pena, both representing Fresno Hunger Count. We'll talk about the numbers. They do have some numbers that we're going to put up on the screen and show you during the course of the program. You may or may not be shocked. 436 Me TV, option 11. What can we do about the hunger problem right here in our own backyard in 2015? south of Shaw. Amazing, huh? We're back with our program in just a moment.
It's almost time.
Now we'll find out once and for all about Clark Kent and Superman.
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a TV show.
Yes, but who is he? What's his name?
He's Superman.
Golly, Clark, won't that be wonderful seeing Superman?
Fighting a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and television the MeTV way.
No one can do the things that Superman does.
The adventures of Superman.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
We need help to find this missing child. Erica Parsons was 13 when she disappeared. She was last seen in Salisbury, North Carolina in November of 2011. This is what we believe she looks like today at age 16. If you have any information, please call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. That's 1-800-843-5678.
All right, maybe today's program, when we try to figure out all these figures and numbers that we'll put up on the screen, maybe you'll be surprised, maybe you won't. Are you shocked that there are so many people in the Central Valley that don't have enough food in their fridge? I'm talking about fruits and vegetables and meats. I'm not talking about garbage type food. I'm not talking about snacks, like Doritos or Cheetos or Cheez-Its or any of those. I'm talking about real, wholesome food. We produce so many fruits and vegetables here in the Central Valley. How could it be possible that all these people are going without food? It's amazing. Philip Erro is here. Greg Pena is here. So can you answer that question? How is that possible?
Well,
we grow all this food right in our own backyard.
That's correct. Well, we grow a lot of food, but it fetches the best price when it leaves the area. It goes to the San Francisco Bay Area or Southern California or New York City or Chicago, and that's where the best prices are, and the foods follow those good prices. So we end up with what is left here in Fresno. And so that's one big reason.
Greg?
Yeah, it's quite an extensive area here that we have as far as for agriculture all the way throughout the valley. So we have that ability to grow that food, distribute that food, but again, the export is tremendous amount. So the residual is what is left here in the valley where all the work is done.
Right. I do want to put up on the screen contact information, and I want to talk a little bit about your organization, Hunger Count. This is the contact information for your organization, and it's called Hunger Count Fresno, located on the mall there in Fresno at 263-1575 is the number. So talk a little bit about your organization, guys. I don't know if Greg, if you want to pick it up. What is Fresno Count? And what kind of a survey did you guys do over the course of the last, couple of years? What's this organization about? Start with that.
Right. Well, it was a project of Mr. Erro. Being a retired farmer, he saw the food necessity through his workers and through the individuals throughout Fresno County. And because of his collaboration with Community Food Bank, the Catholic Charities, we saw that there was an extensive need to identify the types of food on a needs basis as compared to a supply based. So within that aspect, we
hang on, caller.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Mr. Erro put together a group which involved office staff and also surveyors. We at the top of the scale, we ended up having 40 surveyors. And we conducted primarily door-to-door surveys throughout Fresno and portions of the city
over the
Clovis.
course of how long?
It was just right about 9 months.
9 months.
Yes,
and you have a staff, do you?
Well, we had a staff of 40 surveyors actually in the field.
Part-timers?
Yes, they worked part-time. And then we had about 5 people in the office to support their work.
Right. Is this a nonprofit?
Yes, it
organization?
is. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And where does the money come from? Donations? Grants?
Well, actually, it was a project that I decided to do, and Mr. Souza at the Community Food Bank encouraged me. We developed the idea together, and then I just actually launched it and paid the bills.
Yeah. Where does the money come from? Grants or donations?
From my wife and me, just our personal savings.
Privately funded.
So
privately funded.
Correct.
No grants.
No grants at all.
Okay. That's caller, are you there? Go ahead. You're on the air.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, I got a comment. On the beginning of the program, you said that it was south of Shaw Avenue. But you know that if you ever go to one of those giveaways when you give the food, you see a lot of people that come in with brand new trucks, Mercedes-Benz, Cadillacs, and a lot of them from the north side. Myself, I've seen that, and I believe those are really greedy people. Right. Another thing is that there's a lot of field work, but a lot of people can't take your kids there because they have a law. Well, you can't work. I grew up in the 60s working in the field, and I learned and I know how to work, and I went to college and established myself. With that law, you're not going to get nothing going. Then a lot of kids not the one to work. They want to give me, but don't ask for nothing.
Yeah.
And who's working in the fields now? People from Mexico or other countries. That's one of the problems. There's people here that just don't want to do nothing, or the law won't let them.
Yeah.
And what do you think about that?
Well, I'll let our guests respond to that outstanding phone call. So, guys, I think I mentioned this during, well, about 10 or 15 minutes before the show, I mentioned, you know what, a lot of these people don't have enough food. They've got cell phones, they're driving brand new cars, maybe they're driving a Beamer, a Mercedes, yet they don't have enough food in the fridge. You've got to be kidding me. So the caller brought that up. Go ahead and respond.
Well, I'd like to talk about labor in agriculture. I believe the law is that a person has to be 14 years of age and older. So there is that restriction. But we, in agriculture, we'll hire whoever's out there.
Yeah.
Now, our labor contractors generally have primarily people from Mexico and Central America. So that tends to be our workforce, and but as far as hiring some domestic people, in fact, I've done that through the labor contractor. People who, in fact, just yesterday I had a worker who was born in California and grew up in California, went through the schools, and for some reason he's in his 40s, and for some reason he's opted to work in agriculture. So that's an example of someone who could have done other things, and he did for a while. He worked in paving. He told me one time that he worked as a worker in paving, where they put down asphalt. But for some reason he didn't like that and went to farm work. But so I want to address that. We do hire people born and raised in California. The vast majority, though, that's true, is from other countries. With regard to people having late model cars, I've gone to a number of food distributions.
Cell phones.
Right.
Yeah, well, I've gone to a number of food distributions, and I'm astounded too. And I'm also astounded when I see farm workers out in the fields. They'll have late model cars, and I look at them twice. I don't know the models of cars very well. Some of them are 10 years old, but they look like they're right off the showroom floor.
How do you explain that, Greg?
Well, to me, they were putting the emphasis in regards to their look and their appeal and the impressions that they want to make amongst their friends and family. So therefore, the monies that, again, appeared to go into their vehicles, how they dress, and how their style is compared to having a fully available food source.
So the question begs, if they're not willing to help themselves, why should we help them?
So true, and that's a little bit of the hard part that we have identifying. Our primary intent was to identify hunger needs, not to quantify where the additional incomes were coming from these individuals.
Right.
If they've taken the time to say, yes, I am hungry, again, that was.
But yes, I'm driving a brand new Beamer, but I'm hungry. So how do you deal with that?
We did not deal with it. We
you just overlooked that.
We
basically
we had a survey that only asked about food shortages.
Okay.
We went to some houses that were pretty nice houses. Oftentimes they looked like they had late model pickups and cars.
Right.
But if somebody tells us that they're short of food in, say, January, that's what we write down.
Okay.
We don't say, "Oh, I think you're lying," or we didn't do any of that.
Right.
Just take people. If I ask you a question of that kind, I just take your answer. Right. I don't say, "Well, John's he's trying to manipulate the system. He's trying to do this, do that." We didn't do that. We just wrote down the responses.
Yeah, understood. All right, Philip Erro and Greg Pena are here from Hunger Count here in Fresno, and they've got the numbers, and so do we. We're going to put them up on the screen. You can call in if you'd like. A lot of people hungry in this area. I don't want to mischaracterize this, because there are a lot of people that don't have late model cars, that don't have cell phones, that are living in conditions that are deplorable and don't have enough food. So we can't discount those people, and it's real. So 436 MeTV option 11. We're back with our program in a moment.
You can find movies on over-the-air channel 13.3. Movies. Our name says it all.
When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, will help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Back here talking about hunger, and how could it be that so many people in this area go without food each and every day, my friend, for days on end? Major hunger problem here in the city of Fresno. I mean, isn't this the agricultural hotbed? We feed the country, we feed the world. How could this be? Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead. What's your comment or your question?
Just a short comment. You know, I hear saying that there's people out the farms working, and you see them driving new Beamers and new Lexus and all that. You know, a guy that's earning the money they're making working as farm labor will never, ever qualify for a Beamer or a Lexus or a Cadillac or those cars. It's just my opinion. For many years, I was in the lending institution. People would never qualify for those cars. So I think it's kind of, you may find one or two that'll have one for some reason or other, but it's a general, thing. It's just not that way. Those people that work in farm labor don't make enough money. They really don't. That's all I have, and thank you. Maybe you can comment on it, and I'll just take it on the air. Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Well, what I see in the field among farm workers is I do see a few Beamers and other expensive cars. They are used cars, and what we have nowadays is a very vigorous used car industry in the sense that people can get financing on a used car that is only, like 5 years old, and it has only 100,000 miles.
Hang on, caller, get to you in a moment.
And so, you have this car that's 5 years old in very good condition, and these people are just making these payments. They're probably just stretching to do it, but they make these payments, and they're, I see these cars parked right along the field where they're working. I'm kind of astounded.
Yeah. You want to? Oh, you okay there, Greg?
Yeah, a little choke there.
Yeah.
I totally agree with Phil. I mean, it's one of those things that, again, that we were not to judge the individuals that we surveyed. Our intent was to conduct the survey
and take their word at face value.
Right, exactly. Yeah. With again the primary intent of food hunger.
Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
I think I'm talking to Mr. Erro. He was the former farmer, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Have you considered using your interviewers' skills to interview the farmers and to ask them why that most of the production of the Central Valley is, sent out of the Central Valley as our water? You as a farmer, I grew up in the agricultural pump business, and I've watched the water table go from 36 feet in Chowchilla all the way down to like 300 feet. And it's not something that recovers very easily. And so have you thought about, expanding your interviewing of other farm, of the other side of the fence, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, hang on, caller. Stay there. And by the way, if you're on speakerphone, can you get off speakerphone? Because it sounds very hollow, like you're in a cave. Get off speaker if you can. Go ahead and answer that. That's a great question there, caller. So can you interview the farmers on the other side? Why do they have to send this food elsewhere? Is it money?
Yes, it is money. I was in Vancouver, British Columbia, about 3 years ago. And one of the things I enjoy doing when I go to another place, I go to the produce department of a big store or go to a farmer's market, and I look at the labels.
Yeah.
And I kept seeing, you know, I know the labels from Fresno County, not all of them, of course, but
right.
A lot of them. And I recognize cantaloupes grown in the Mendota area, and I know some of those fellows. And basically, their entire model is to produce a premium product and export it to the place that will get the best price. And so, you know...
So that's why they can't keep it here?
Yes, that's, you know, the best melons go to the best markets, and then we get what's left. So that's largely the reason why. And I could interview those people, and I know, as I say, I know quite a few farmer packers, but you know, it's pretty obvious what they're doing, and they're having success doing it. So.
Caller, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here, sir.
Okay. Are you on speakerphone, by the way?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm the only communication I got. I'm talking to you over the internet. I'm way out in nature, and
Gotcha.
I'm connected to the internet.
No problem. But you understand that the reason they can't keep up.
More a little bit to that.
All right.
We get in trouble. I mean, a lot of companies got in trouble for bottling water from California and sending it out of the state. And so it's kind of the same thing when we're growing fruit and vegetables and so on from California, and we send it out of the state. It's not very much different, really, in reality.
Yeah, but can you understand the sales side of it? I mean, the best products are going to go to the people that are willing to pay the highest price, right?
Right. I understand that people breach their integrity for money. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Hey, quickly before we go, where are you calling from?
From almost in Sequoia, Keys Canyon National Park area.
Oh, great.
We got rain up here.
Tremendous.
Wow. You know.
It's raining up there. Well, that's good news. It'll all trickle down. All right, caller, thank you very much for your input. Two great questions and comments there from our caller, and very good observation. And thanks for watching our program from way up there. I'm glad it's raining there. 436 MeTV, option 11. When we come back, we are going to show you some of the numbers. You'll be shocked at how many people claim they don't have enough food to put on the table. Back in a moment.
The Ballad of Andy and Barney. Andy and Barney were lawmen, bravest you ever did see. Warned every crook in the record book to stay out of Mayberry. They were the law.
Yes, they were the law, and they didn't know fear.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I guess to sum it up, you could say there's three reasons why there's so little crime in Mayberry. There's Andy, and there's me, and baby makes three.
Now on MeTV Fresno.
Back here on the program talking about hunger and how many people go hungry in the Central Valley. And the fact is we send some of the best products outside the region. The people that are willing to pay the most money for cantaloupes, watermelons, almonds, whatever the case may be, even grapes, raisins, right? They all go out. Right. They all go out at the highest price. Right. Caller, go ahead. Are you there?
Yes. Do you see the setup of soup kitchens and other charitable institutions setting up soup kitchens because of the people just not having enough to eat? And isn't there a lot of programs currently going, like, you know, after-school programs and many others? What's happening with all that food?
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. What about a soup kitchen? What about some of these after-school programs?
There are a number of soup kitchens, and his point is well taken that there are a lot of them and they're not coordinated.
And what does that mean?
Well, it means that, for example, you have one organization that primarily takes care of homeless and others on G Street, and they provide dinner and then a place to stay overnight.
Oh.
So that organization now has also gone into food distribution, and there are a number of organizations that have branched out into food distribution, and they're all doing a good thing, but there is not coordination among them, and that's one of the discussions that's ongoing now, is that everybody needs to talk to everyone else and come up with a more effective way to do this.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, and then his other point was, let's see, he had the
school programs, after-school programs.
Yes, very important. We have the Fresno County Economic Opportunity Commission, which is addressing that, but they have very limited funding. And what we have, as the caller well knows, is we have people who, families, households that depend on the children getting at least 2 meals a day from the schools.
Yeah.
And then when school is out, all of a sudden there's just this lack of nutrition.
Yeah, but the after-school programs, they just have snacks. I know, because my kids go to the after-school programs, or at least my daughter does, and they don't provide food there.
Brown bags and nothing to take
No, it's not. It's not even that. It's like maybe some yogurt, chips, graham crackers, that type of thing. They're just snacks. They don't provide real food for them. And even in the cafeteria during lunchtime and even breakfast, you got to question what they're serving in there. Is it real food or is it processed? So let's put up the full screens here. So let's start with your organization called Vision. What is your vision for this company? And you basically, in your handouts, basically say to provide adequate nutrition for all residents in Fresno. And then the mission statement reads like this: to document the nutritional needs of all food insecure people in Fresno, to provide a factual basis on which to plan future food purchases to meet these needs, and to create a substantial, or sustainable, I should say, solution. Right? So what does that mean?
Well, it means basically that right now we're trying to address a need, the Community Food Bank and Salvation Army being among the biggest food distributors, that they're trying to fill a need that they don't know how big the need is. And so the hunger count is an attempt to quantify how much food is needed and when it's needed, where it's needed, and what kinds of food.
Yeah, but how do you provide nutrition for all residents in Fresno?
Well, I think...
How can we do that?
I think what we do is we plan for lack of a better way to say it, worst case, and we provide the food. If they take less than that, or if that is more than is needed at any one point, you just serve a little bit less on the next food distribution. So it's a constant adjustment.
All right, but what about the food bank? The food bank, where does it come in? Where does it fall into play? I mean, people donate food and money to the food bank. People that don't have enough food, why can't they go to the food bank and get it?
Well, the food bank, is only so big, and they do handle a substantial amount of the food relief in Fresno County, but they don't handle all of it, and they never will, because there are certain constituencies that, say, for example, the Salvation Army, they have people who have substance abuse, and so they handle people who come out of jails, for example, out of prisons, and they need to stay off drugs, stay off alcohol, and they see them through that process until they're able to go out into society. So those programs will continue for those reasons, because they're really trying to address...
So the food bank can't serve everybody, is that what you're saying, Greg?
That's exactly true.
Right.
Right, they've done a substantial job in regards to attempting to fulfill...
Hang on, caller.
To fulfill,
Please.
the needs based on that. But again, they can't cover everybody, and the food bank, or community food bank themselves have identified that.
How many people can they cover?
Quantity-wise, Phil?
People, we've got the pounds of meals, but people, I'm not certain.
But you can go, and a caller, hang on a moment, I'll get to you in just a moment here. The fact of the matter is, anybody, even you, Philip, and me, all of us here, we could go down every day to the Poverillo house and eat a meal.
Right.
Why don't some of these people go down and eat a full lunch or dinner at the Poverillo house?
Right.
If they don't have enough.
I think it's in that aspect in regards to making the effort to go down there. You know, if you can deliver it to my house, you can deliver it to my neighborhood.
If they've got a brand new Beamer, they can drive down there.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. Caller?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay. I've been around this valley all my life, and I grew up down east of Tipton and during World War II, and then a lot of places. But do you remember hearing anything about, it was called a victory garden?
Yeah.
People don't know how to even grow a tomato anymore, and they could save themselves tons of money. I grew up in victory gardens, and I helped grow them myself.
Yeah.
And I was born in 34.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, during the war, we had everything we needed to eat. And that was out on my uncle's farm, 6 miles east of Tipton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So your comment, guys? Why don't you start there, Greg?
Well, ironically, with my father growing up here in the valley also, I saw the struggles that they went through as a family of four.
They grew their own
single
food,
parent.
though,
They grew
right?
their own food.
Yeah.
A large, substantial backyard, the time and effort put into that. I mean, and it was, you know, it was a reward in regards to all their efforts that they put into that. But I think, unfortunately, society nowadays, with the way that food is available, the drive-throughs, 24-hour, you know, let me get something to eat, even though it's far from nutritious.
Grow, right?
Right, that's exactly. Why put the effort into that when someone can supply me with a means of obtaining food?
Even if that food is not healthy for you.
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, that's exactly
All right,
true.
we got to wrap it up here for this segment. Back in a moment with Philip Erro and Greg Pena from Fresno Food Count. And you can go to FresnoFoodCount.org. That's your website, is that right?
Fresno Hunger Count, yes.
FresnoHungerCount.org. Okay, back with our show, 436-MeTV, option 11, in just a moment.
Hello, I'm John Walsh. We need your help to capture this fugitive. James Bell is an alleged child predator. Bell's wanted for molesting 3 girls ages 9 through 13 while working at a local YMCA in 2003. He was arrested, then fled. Bell has worked as a gymnastics instructor, coach, and a computer repairman. Bell could be anywhere along the West Coast. If you know where he is, call 617-742-5533.
Take a look at this. Let's play.
This is too hip for you. I'll slow down.
Let's play.
Watch all your favorite classic game shows on Buzzer TV, KBBC Digital Channel 13.7.
We're back here on the program talking about Fresno Hunger Count, and you can go to their website, FresnoHungerCount.org, and then you can call us at 436-MeTV, option 11. I do want to put up some more graphics here, and we'll get to the hardcore numbers in just a moment. The goal of the survey, now these two gentlemen here, the organization, they took a survey over the course of several months. And that is the goal of the survey, to determine when and where people need additional food to meet their nutritional requirements and to identify which foods they actually need. All right, let's go to the survey area map. We've been talking about this. South of Shaw. All right, at the top of your screen, above all of the yellow squares, that's Shaw Avenue. Everything south of that is south of Shaw. And you've even got Malaga and Calwa down there in the orange and the kind of turquoise color there at the bottom.
Right.
So that's the map. That's the area. You covered how many square miles here in this area that you covered over the course of what, 9 months?
That's a good question. I'm not sure how many square miles, but our key factor that we went was 75 census tracts. The northern sector up there, right in the very top center of the page, is the Pinedale area. We saw a need
in the
for
green.
hunger.
In the green.
In the yellow at the very top.
Oh, at the top, at the yellow at the
top.
very top. What's
That's
the green
correct.
area? Is that Clovis?
That's Clovis. 2 sections of Clovis that we found
Okay.
in regards to for food insecurity of individuals that had 200% or less in regards to the federal income.
So this map here represents what to you?
Every census tract that we conducted a survey.
Okay, and How far east and west does it go?
Of course, or west, you can see west of the 99. There's probably in the widest sector there, probably about 2 miles out. And then, of course, you can see on the right-hand side, top right-hand side, that's 168 heading north. And then just, again, above Sanger.
So you had 40 surveyors over the course of how many months?
Right about 7, 8 months, right.
7 or 8 months,
Right.
comb this entire area?
Correct.
Yeah.
There was a combination in regards to door-to-door surveys that we used the heat maps. I'm sorry, we used the individual GIS mapping systems
So you
to
went
identify
door-to-door?
income. Primarily, we did conduct surveys at various different events, backpack events, Fulton Mall, different business throughout the county, county business and state.
That took a lot of work, a lot of legwork.
Yes.
It did.
Got some good exercise, huh?
Right.
Our surveyors said that they lost weight. That they,
Yeah.
they've been trying
Early
to lose weight for years, and this was magic.
That proves that exercise will do it to you.
Right.
All right, survey analysis. Let's put that up. Okay, so you saw that survey map. Now here is the analysis. These are the hardcore numbers. 192,180 households in Fresno and Clovis metropolitan area. What does that mean? What's that figure represent?
It means that if you take all the houses in the city of Clovis, city of Fresno, and the county islands within the city of Fresno boundaries, there are 192,180 families.
All right, so the next figure that's down there, keep that up there, 103,502 households in the Fresno hunger count survey area, and that means what?
Well, when you go back to that map where it shows Pinedale and then Fresno south of Shaw, all those 75 census tracts, there are 103,500 households in those census tracts.
All right, and then the next number down the list there, you can see 42,137, 41% of surveys conducted by Fresno Hunger Count. That means what?
Well, we actually, of the 103,500 families, we actually reached 42,137 of those families.
Okay, so you tried to contact 103,502. You were only able to reach just over 42,000.
That's correct.
And you surveyed those 42,000. And of the 42,000, a little more than half, 21,388, indicated a food shortage in their household. Am I correct?
That's right.
Not enough food in the fridge.
Yes,
Correct.
now it can be a case where when they get down to, they may have only one wage earner, and when it gets down to the last few days before that paycheck comes, that they're in a situation where they may have 3 eggs and a half quart of milk, and they have to ration those eggs and that milk, either skipping meals or dividing it up.
All right, I want to go over that again so the viewer at home knows it. Put that survey analysis back up there real quick, and I want you to take a look at the two bottom numbers there. Okay, the Fresno Hunger Count was able to contact a little more than 42,000 households of the 103,000 they tried to contact. So of the 42,000 plus, at the number at the bottom of your screen, more than half, 21,000 in that survey area map, say they don't have enough food in their refrigerator. And that means, when I'm talking food, I'm not talking about Doritos or Cheez-Its or crackers. You're talking about real wholesome food like milk, eggs, meat, fruits and vegetables. Am I correct?
Yes, that's right.
All right, and of these people that you surveyed and talked to, the people that don't have enough, what did they say they're going to do about it? Did any of them say anything about, okay, I don't have enough food tonight? Did you ask, okay, where are you going to get your next meal?
But that wasn't part of the survey. What we just asked them was, did you experience food shortages in January and then February and so on, the 12 months?
I see. Right.
So we didn't go into...
you didn't go into the dirty details about when you eat last?
We didn't ask those questions yet.
Okay. Some more numbers to put in here and full screens. Shortage. Let's go with that one. And you can look at this graphic here. Explain what we're looking at, because I'm looking at the numbers, but I'm not quite sure I understand what you're talking about here.
Sure. We had this 21,388 households that responded that they had food shortages. When they did, we asked them each month about were you short proteins, were you short carbohydrates, were you short fats. Now fats, we're talking about cooking oil primarily, and then fresh fruits and vegetables. If they responded that we're short one of those items, we would just indicate that in a matrix we had for each month. And so we get those.
So let's go with proteins.
Sure.
Leave that up there. 5.3. What does that number represent? 5.3 what?
That's 5.3 million pounds of proteins that these 21,388 households said they would need to bring their diet up to an adequate diet.
That's all. That's the 21,000 plus.
Correct.
So everything
That's
combined. So
Combined.
5.3 million pounds. All right, caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yeah, let me ask you a guess. When they're taking a survey, do they take a survey, about the food and what they have or don't have? Do they go inside the homes or do they take the surveys outside?
No, everything.
That's a great question.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everything.
You never go inside the house.
No,
and
we
check
never did
the
not.
Fridge?
No.
Okay.
We prohibited our surveyors from going into the homes.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of reasons for that, but I think it's fairly obvious. If you have somebody going into a home, there could be some impropriety, any number of problems. So they just ask the questions right at the front door.
All right, we're going to come back. I got to take a break, but I'm going to put that graphic back up, the shortage, the food shortages in terms of proteins and carbs and all that. When we come back, 436-MeTV option 11. Some great calls today. Good questions out there. Man, did you go inside? No, you didn't. Prohibited. Anyway, they say that more than 21,000 in that whole survey area, they don't have enough food in their refrigerator. Back in just a moment.
And then at some point.
Euronews, most watched news channel in Europe.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
Back here on the program, 436-MeTV option 11. I sure appreciate your phone calls today and some really outstanding questions. And like I've said many times before, the viewers out there that watch this program ask better questions than I do 99% of the time. Anyway, I want to put that food shortage graphic up one more time, talking about proteins, carbs, fats. So let me get this straight, guys. Okay, of the 21,000 that told you that they don't have enough food, to meet their protein requirements, they would need 5.3 million pounds of proteins. They would need 6 million pounds of carbs, 1.3 million pounds of fat, 13.4 million pounds of fruits and veggies, and all told about 26 million pounds of food to meet the requirements of these 21,000 plus households that are short of food. Did I analyze that correctly?
Yes,
Right,
that is correct.
Right, and that is for 2014 for our survey duration time, so that does not
All right.
include 15 and going forward.
Gotcha. Okay, next graphic, distribution insecurity. What's this one all about, guys?
And this graphic shows on the right-hand side, that pale green is what is being done now. So that's the community food bank, it's and any number of charities, it's churches, it's...
That's what's being done now to try to solve the problem.
Correct.
Okay.
And just the people that we talk to show that there's more needs to be done than what is being done.
So the blue indicates what's being done or what needs to be done?
What needs to be
It
done.
needs to be done based on
okay.
our survey results.
Okay, so the white area indicates what is being done, and the blue area in those circles represent, hey, there's a lot more work to do.
That's correct.
All right, now another graphic we'll put up, it's called needs. the food needs versus distribution. This one, very easy to see. And what's the red, the blue, and the light blue all about?
Well, the blue is those four categories, the proteins.
Well, 1 second, caller. I'll be right with you, okay? Please hang on. Go ahead.
Yeah, the blue is just those foods that we've been talking about, proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and fresh fruits and vegetables. But what also happens is that the food bank and some of the pantries will get a truck just come in and deliver a whole variety of food that is not sorted out. And it'll just be, you know, some top ramen. It'll be Cheerios, granola bars, just soup to nuts, and so they don't bother to categorize it. When they have their next food distribution, they put a little bit of each in each bag.
And what's the red?
The red is what we identified among the 21,388 households. What they need. What they say they need to have a adequate diet.
All right, and what we talked about before, and the light blue represents what?
The light blue is just this uncategorized food where trucks show up and it's just miscellaneous.
Yeah, caller, you've been patient. Thanks for waiting. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Well, I just wanted to say it's a good idea to be doing this sort of thing about talking about the food distributions and all that. But I was wondering, you keep harping on this point about people having Mercedes and BMWs and this and that. Did the gentleman who used to be a farmer take down those license plate numbers and then drive around and see if the same people that are in the food distribution lines are the ones that are working out in the field?
No, we did not do any police activities. We were just taking people at their word, and then we're reporting what we found. So we did not analyze the veracity, the truth or falsity of what they said.
Yeah. Okay. Good call. Thank you for the call and the question. I appreciate it very much. I want to put up some more graphics here before we go. We're inundating you with graphics today, my friend. I hope you're digesting all of this at home. Empty fridges across the Central Valley. More than 64,000 people in Fresno say they have empty fridges. Now, again, that caller that called in asked that terrific question. You did not go inside any of these homes to inspect their refrigerators, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Man, look at that. That's amazing. That's a terrific graphic, by the way. Not enough food. 80% of them, of the 64,000, say not enough meat, bread, fruits, or veggies, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Wow. And then another whopping number, no milk. Many of these people say they just don't have enough milk to give to their kids. And as we all know, milk is essential when you're growing up.
That's exactly true.
We should clarify that the milk we're talking about is for the infants and 5-year-olds and younger. So a household could have quite a bit of milk, but you take the 12-year-olds to 18-year-olds, they're growing very fast, they're in athletics, they consume a lot of milk, and they don't say, oh, well, that one's for the young child. They just grab the milk.
And the next graphic, let's put that up, 26 million pounds of food needed this year, hang on, caller, to satisfy all of those people here in the Central Valley that are going hungry, not only last year, but well into this year. Caller, thanks for being patient. Turn down the TV. I can hear I think I hear your television set in the background. Please turn down the set. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Yeah, John, most of these companies that are giving food to these programs, aren't they big corporations that have extra, or is it farmers? Because I noticed that a lot of the farmers, trees and all this is being tore out. Has this got a lot to do with what food you're getting now?
Go ahead, Greg.
I was going to say one of the main factors we're up against right now is that for trees being torn out, we're seeing a change of course because of the water availability. So therefore, the water requirements for trees, it's not there. So they're in a transition between the crops as far as for bug infestation. So again, they're extracting those. But pertaining to the food distribution, it's a critical one that we're seeing through the farmers on how they're distributing distributing, currently within the area. We see a lot of it that, again, is sold outside of the region, and then with the residual that's remaining here in the valley. So it could be short life, it could be undersized. There's quite a few different.
I'd like to speak to the large corporations just
Go
for a
ahead.
minute.
Right.
The community food bank will get shipments from chain stores. So you get a chain store,
like Save Mart,
say Save Mart, or any number of them.
Trader Joe's, any one of these stores.
Right, and what they have is food that has to be sold by a certain date. And as they get down to that date, they'll just make up a semi-load of food and just take it to the food bank. And so what happens is the food bank or Salvation Army, any number of distributors, that they'll get just kind of food that's it's very good, wholesome food. But it isn't, it's not like you ordered this many pounds of chicken and this many pounds. It's just kind of whatever.
Shelf life.
All right. We got a call. I'm going to ask him to hold. Caller, you'll have to hang on until after the break. I appreciate your patience. Be back in a moment here on Connect with Me, 436-MeTV, option 11. Running out of time. Back in a moment.
A top secret location. It's the spies who love me, bringing together MeTV's top super spies to fight evil at a memorable moment's notice. They're daring.
That's right.
Brave.
Now what are we gonna do?
The best we can.
Suave.
Does that apply to me, Oscar? Possibly.
And smart.
The old finger in the gun trick.
Maxwell Smart.
MeTV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD, 3D, web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Back here on the program, let's get to our caller before we run out of time. Appreciate your patience. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me ask the gentleman there that on the survey sometimes it doesn't work, because if you don't go inside the homes, you can't tell if they have food or not, in the refrigerators and all that. You go by the surveys for what they tell you, and then you want to hear that. And that's one of the reasons a lot of times the surveys are off, And I would like to say, when you go to make survey, is the areas that are kind of in the poverty areas, because I know people that live in good areas in town, but they're embarrassed to ask, that they need help. I mean, they have the energy bills, mortgages, car payments, and all that, and they barely survive. And just because they have these nice things at home doesn't necessarily mean they have anything in the refrigerator.
Right.
And
that's true. Yeah. Right. Hey, that's an excellent point. Another good call. So did you take that into consideration?
Very much so. I mean, it was one of the criteria that we established with the surveyors. I mean, when you transfer from a porch, into someone's house, there is a huge security issue for our surveyor itself, let alone the person. There could be concerns. Initially, when we started the program, we had Fresno County hunger count on our shirts, and we found out that the people were resistant once they saw the word county in our shirts.
But why? Why? Okay. Here's the question that I have.
Right.
Why didn't you go into North Fresno? Why didn't you go north of Shaw, north of Herndon?
It was all based on census data. We set the criteria through actual census data of individuals that were reported at greater than 200% of the poverty level.
Looking back now, should you have gone into North Fresno?
I don't believe so. Again, we want to follow by the U.S. government census data.
Because the caller brings up a good point. Just because you have a nice house, nice car, doesn't mean you have enough food.
Right. Then, there was definitely that transition there, from people losing their job and employment.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying people that would turn around and lose a job, therefore unemployed, so therefore the food necessity.
Yeah, but aren't you curious? Wouldn't you be curious, Philip, to find out how many people up north don't have enough food?
Well, we did some of that. We went into areas that were affluent. When we did that, we had to be really careful to pick just those blocks where there's some telltale signs, and we did those blocks. But here's the thing, John. It becomes cost ineffective. It becomes very costly to go to houses that are not hungry.
Right.
So to give you just an overview, 50% of the houses that we did interview said that they had shortages. 35% said they did not. So even as careful as we were, we spent a lot of money on 35% of the respondents who said they weren't hungry.
Wow. Hey, I want to put another graphic up on the screen. It's called Hunger Stats, 2014 Fresno Hunger Count Survey. And there it is right there, right in front of your eyes, my friends. And you can go to hungercount.org. Make sure and put hunger, of course, the little dash there, count.org to get to their website. But another call. And I want to roll a videotape as we take this call here of some fruits and vegetables here in the Central Valley, because as you look at that graphic, kind of shocking. Those numbers are shocking considering, hang on caller, how much food that we grow here in the Central Valley. New York Times Magazine, what did they say again? Back just a few years ago, as you're looking at this video here, they said this was the land of 1 billion vegetables, according to the New York Times Magazine. Caller, you're on the air. We've only got a couple of minutes. What's your comment or your question?
Well, I grew up with the commodities, and I remember we got powdered milk, lots of cheese, beans, peanut butter, all those things in large quantities. So, I mean, it may not have been everything that you needed, but you certainly had the staples. Whatever happened to that? Why we went to the, everybody had to have a card and buy at a grocery store.
Yeah, that's a good question. Greg, I don't know.
Well, I mean, one of the key factors that we're at now, too, is that it's convenience. I don't want to spend the time in the kitchen cooking. So therefore, if I run out to fast food or, dine in, quick dine in.
I don't mean to interrupt, but as we look at this food here, it begs the question, isn't it cheaper to go buy an apple or a carrot than it is to buy a burger or a bag of Doritos?
Oh, sure, very much so. But it's all on that taste factor. What tastes better? So therefore, we might have that option if I'm going to make the choice between the two, the time and the effort, the preparation and the serving and the cleanup. Maybe I'm going to opt out to go, that other avenue, that flavorful avenue. Throw some fries in there while you're at it.
Are we talking laziness here?
I would think so. Our society's changed.
Wow. Doesn't that food look good, though? Doesn't it make you want to go shopping right now?
Right.
John, I'd also like to point out that so far as I know, the commodity program continues. The Community Food Bank does get those items that she listed, and they do
really? Like peanut butter and
yes, and cheese and any number
milk.
of other.
They get milk.
Milk
no.
They do not get. It's just too. It spoils too easily.
Yeah.
But no, as far as I know, I think that program is continuing. So those commodities are distributed. Right. But what the Community Food Bank in particular now is trying to do is include fresh fruits and vegetables. They're trying to round out the diet, and
I see.
And I think they're doing a great job doing that.
Yeah.
But
Andy Souza.
It's getting away from what she was talking about.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. He's been here before. He's got a good sense of humor, and he's in it because I guess he wants to help people. At least that's what he told me.
Right.
He's got a compassion for what's going on out there.
Yes.
So, hey, I appreciate your time, guys. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Greg. I apologize. Greg?
Thank you, John, very much for your time. Pleasure,
all right,
sir.
Philip?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, John.
You guys are gentlemen, the scholars, and I hope you come back. Thanks for the survey.
Okay. Great.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, a lot of good calls today talking about hunger here in the Central Valley. And tomorrow, another hot topic. We're going to talk about the homeless here in the Central Valley and in the city of Fresno. They say the numbers have been cut in half. Do you believe it? We'll talk about it tomorrow on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. Have a good day.
Want to create something extraordinary? Create perfection. Our lifestyle appliances make it easy. KitchenAid, Ventura TV appliance, and you, when only the best will do.